What's up guys, and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I am going to give you my honest review for one of the most highly anticipated mobile MMORPG, Tree of Savior Neverland. I've heard a lot of hype about this game, and recently, I've been seeing a lot of ads in Facebook and YouTube about this MMORPG. So of course, I got curious and I decided to give this game a shot to see what the hype is all about. Just to be clear, this is my first time playing this game, and I have no idea what this game is all about. When I did my research, there is already a Tree of Savior game on PC, which was released on March 28, 2016. Although, I'm not so sure if the original game will be the same as what we have in the mobile platform, especially if these two games have different developers and publishers. But anyway, I'm very excited to see what this game is all about, and I want to share my fresh perspective to you guys. First off, let's talk about the graphics of the game. Of course, that is one of the first things that we usually see. From the login page alone, I am already getting a very cartoonish and vibrant art style, which is very appealing if I'm going to be honest. In my opinion, the graphics is already on par or even better than the graphics of other top mobile MMORPGs in the market. And that is a good sign of a good game. Of course, with better graphics, we need to also assess the performance and gameplay of the OS, which we will do later in the video. We need to check if the performance and gameplay can keep up with the graphics of the game. If we check out the server list of the game, there are already multiple servers available for players to select, which in my opinion is also a good sign, because this shows you that there are a lot of players playing the game. Do take note that this game just released a few days ago, so seeing that there are already a lot of servers available just shows that this game is already building a decent amount of players. Moving on to the character creation, we have the typical select your avatar for the game, which is very common in MMORPGs. You can either play as a male or a female in the game. In addition to that, you will also be selecting a companion named Furball, which is very cute and blends well with the art style of the game. We will talk about this little Furball more in the later parts of the video, as this little guy will have a huge impact on your power levels in the game. Right after selecting your avatar in-game, you will now proceed with the class selection, where you will pick what role you want to play in-game. So as of right now, in the current patch, there are 5 classes that you can choose from. You have the Shield Guard, which is basically plays the role of a tank. You have the Magister, which is your magic type user, or also known as the Mage. Next up is the Spirit Healer. From the name alone, this is basically your support or healer class in the group. And then you have the Gunslinger, which is your ranged DPS class in the party. In most MMORPGs, we usually see an archer as the starting range class, but here, we have the Gunslinger instead. And last but certainly not the least, is the Shadow Hunter. Now this is your assassin class in the game. Very agile, deals a ton of damage on enemies. And that is actually the class that I opted to play in this game. Now, if we are talking about the variety of classes available, I think this game has done a good job in covering all the necessary classes in an MMORPG. Of course, some players might think that the class selection is quite small, and that is understandable. But we also have to consider that the game just released a few days ago, so the potential of having more classes in future updates is very much a possibility. Moving on to the next thing that I want to talk about, and that is the user interface of the OS. Surprisingly, when I first saw the user interface of the game, especially on the equipment UI, the first thing that came into my mind is the Ragnarok Origin user interface. For some reason, I feel like the TOS UI resembles a lot of the ROO user interface. But maybe it's just me, since I've been playing and reviewing a lot of MMORPGs in recent months. Anyway, if you've played ROO, then I don't think you will have any problems learning the TOS user interface. What I really like about this UI is that it's simple and straightforward. Again, I am a huge proponent of having things in a simple rather than a complicated manner. This will ensure that players who have no experience in MMORPGs will have an easier and shorter learning curve. When it comes to the equipment system of the game, each class has their own unique equipment set, meaning your class will only use one type of equipment. For example, a Shadow Hunter can only use a double dagger as their weapon in hand, while a Gunslinger can only use guns as their weapon of choice. Now for some players, they might not like the lack of weapon variety, but again, as I've mentioned earlier, the game just started a few days ago, so there are so much more potential in future updates moving forward. Now for me personally, I don't really mind this type of equipment system. The only time that you have to change your weapon or armors is when you get higher levels or better equipment rarity in the game. Like a purple tier dagger is much better than a green tier dagger. Another thing that you need to note is that each equipment has a unique stat, from additional stats to additional HP and so on. Each equipment tier can carry different unique stats. For example, a gold tier has 5 stat slots as compared to a blue tier weapon which has only 2. So getting a higher tier equipment will certainly increase your character's power level. Now, one of the things that I really like in the equipment system is that you can transfer unique stats from one type of equipment to another. That is very convenient, especially when you are upgrading higher tier or levels of equipment. Now that we've covered the user interface as well as the equipment system, let's now talk about one of the things that players like to do in MMORPGs, and that is customizing their avatars with skins or cosmetics. When it comes to the customization in TOS, there is a wide range of cosmetics available in the game, from the headgear up until the mount of your character. You will have a lot of options to choose from. And one thing that you need to take note about the skins or the cosmetics is that each item has their own unique set of stats that can help improve your character's power level. At the same time, each item has their own tier level, from blue, purple to gold. Of course, the higher the tier level, the higher the stats that you can get from each costume. There are multiple ways to get cosmetics in the game. You can get them from missions, you can craft them using cosmetic blueprints, and of course, through your typical gacha system in the game. Speaking of the gacha system, we will talk about the monetization system of the game later in the video, so make sure to stick around. Next on our list is the game modes available in TOS. Just like any MMORPG, there are different game modes available in this game, from clearing dungeons and instances, to escorting animals and protecting them from monsters, to arranging a delivery service for supplies in the kingdom. This game has it all. If you want to get upgrading materials from your companion, or also known as the cat pals in the game, do the Archie Tower. It is similar to the Endless Tower in other MMORPGs. If you want to get higher level and tier equipments, do the Gear Rift instances with your friends. And if you want to play goofy minigames, do the escort and delivery missions. Or if you want to test your power levels against other players, try the Arena game mode, where you will compete in a 1v1 battle against other players. There is also a 3v3 PvP mode when you reach higher levels in the game. So there are a lot of things to do in this game. Some might be entertaining and some are not. That really depends on the player's preference at the end of the day. For me personally, I enjoyed doing all the game modes in TOS. And one of the things that I really like is the to-do list window that is available in-game. This will ensure players that you can keep track of your activities for the day, which is very convenient, especially if you can't do all these things in one go. Now with that being said, with all the game modes available and the high quality graphics that we have, the next thing that we need to talk about is the performance of the game. Just a side note, I am playing TOS in an emulator, so my experience might be different with other players who are playing in a mobile device. When it comes to performance, I highly commend the developers of this game, because all throughout my playthrough, I didn't encounter any game crashes, any lag or the rubber band or spring effect, wherein your character goes back and forth when moving forward, regardless if I am in a crowded area in a map or in an intense battle in a dungeon. I didn't encounter any lag or frame drops. Now that says a lot about a mobile game. I truly think that this game is properly optimized and is one of the best games that I've played when it comes to gameplay and performance. When it comes to combat gameplay, it is also very good. Each attack or skill that you use feels right, from the visual effect up until the sound effects of each hit. It's truly a great and immersive experience. In addition to the different game modes that I've mentioned, if you're tired fighting monsters in the game, there is also a house system in TOS. And this is not your typical house system in an MMORPG. Once you unlock your own house, you can do a lot of things in that game mode. It's not all about decorating your house and making it cute and whatnot. You can also plant food, raise farm animals, create your own product and sell it to consumers. It's like playing a farm simulator in an MMORPG. This is so similar to the Harvest Moon game back in the day. If you don't know what that is one of the best farm simulator games back in the PlayStation 1 era. And that is a part of this game. So if you ever get bored fighting, you can just chill out in your own farm. Another feature that you have in this game are the life skills, wherein you can choose to become a chef, an alchemist, or a craftsman. From there, you can craft food, potions, and items used in combat. What's good about this is that you can create a stall and sell your crafted items to other players. When it comes to the main marketplace in the game, there's nothing really special about this system. It's basically your typical marketplace that you see in most MMORPGs. You can sell the equipment that you get from dungeons, as well as other items that you get in-game. Moving on to the character progression, this aspect of the game is quite simple, to be honest. Unlike other MMORPGs, wherein when you level up, you will be given stat points that you can use to allocate on your character. In this game, your stats will come from your equipment, cards, costumes, and cat paws. When it comes to the skill points and skill tree, this is similar to your typical MMORPG game, wherein every level up grants you a skill point to use in the skill tree. The skill tree is not really that big as compared to other games, but you can still create different builds for your character. And by the way, I am still on the first stage of my class. Once I move up to the second stage or second phase of the Shadow Hunter class, I'm pretty sure that it will open up more skills available for my character. As a side note to this character progression topic, there is a feature in this game that really surprised me the most, as I haven't really encountered this one in other MMORPGs that I've played. And that is the level cap that you reach in TOS per day. You heard that right. There is a level cap for your character each day. For example, I can only reach level 27 today. In order for me to reach higher levels, I need to wait for the game reset on the following day. Now I'm quite torn about this feature in the game. On one hand, I think this is really good for casual players in-game, because they won't get left behind when it comes to leveling. In most MMORPGs, that is usually the problem of casual players, wherein they get left behind and they can no longer find dungeon parties within their level range. So I guess this is more beneficial for casual players. At the same time, this feature does not pressure its player base to be online or active 24/7 in the game, which again, something that I like and I can relate to. On the other hand, I'm not so sure how this feature will sit well with players that can spend all day in the game. Of course, there will always be players that have more times in their hands and wants to progress a lot faster in the game. But then again, this is a feature that I really find fascinating in the game. Moving on to our next topic, which I think most of you are waiting for. It's time to address the elephant in the room, and that is the game pay to win? The short answer to that is yes. But does that mean that the game is bad? The answer to that is no. We need to be honest and true to ourselves when it comes to this topic, because the truth of the matter is, majority, if not all of the games that are coming out nowadays, especially in the mobile platform and in the MMORPG genre, are pay-to-win games. They are called free-to-play games, yes, because you can download and play the games for free. But these games have the same monetization system, which is the gacha system that we commonly see nowadays. Now, the most relevant gacha in TOS is the gacha for the cat pals or the companion. The reason for this is because the main source of cat pals and evolution materials for your cat pals is the gacha system. As I've mentioned earlier in the video, the companion or cat pals will play a vital role in your power levels, because the cat pals adds another layer of combat skills that you can use in PvE and PvP. At the same time, the percentage of your cat pal stats will be reflected to your character stats, which makes your power levels a lot stronger. Of course, with that being said, pay-to-win players will definitely have an advantage when it comes to the rarity and tier levels of their cat pals. So to the next probable question, can an F2P survive in this game? Or is there an alternative option for an F2P to draw cat pals in the gacha? The answer to that is yes. I am playing as an F2P in the game, and so far, I haven't really had any problems when it comes to progressing my character. For the second question, the answer to that is also yes. There are a lot of quests, missions, and events that grants players gacha tickets used for the cat pal gacha. So as an F2P, you just need to be more active in doing missions and events in order to get the chance to draw in the cat pal gacha. Again, this is just my own perspective and opinion about this topic. I am not the type of player that will stop playing a game simply because it's a pay-to-win. If I enjoy playing a game, I will play that game regardless if it's a pay-to-win game. Some players might like it, some players might not. At the end of the day, just play the game that you want to play. With that being said, the game is not perfect. It has its own flaws as well. One of the things that I really don't like about the game are the sudden pop-ups that we get from time to time. These things are so annoying, to be honest. Like, after a loading screen, or after you exit a game mode, a sudden pop-up about a chest worth $1 will show up. I mean, those things are so unnecessary. What most pay-to-win games do is they show those things once you log into the game, and then after that, it will not show again. In TOS, it seems like there is a time interval when these pop-ups appear. Another pop-up that I really hate is the party request. Regardless of what you are doing, or where you are in the map, party requests will suddenly appear out of nowhere. Like, come on bro. There should be a limit or a range where you can invite someone to a party. There were instances when I was crafting or gathering materials in a different map, and I still get those party requests on my screen. It's really annoying. Another thing that I'm really not a fan of is that there are too many windows in the game to claim rewards. I mean, if a new player sees this, I think they will be overwhelmed of how much windows you have to click or open in order to claim a reward. And last but not the least, are small details in the game. Like for example, the Winter Hill arc. For some reason, there were no voiceovers in the main quest in that arc as compared to the earlier stories in the game. In my opinion, they need to be consistent even with the small things in the game. And that's it for my review. Overall, I really enjoyed my time playing Tree of Savior Neverland, and I'm still playing the game up until now. The game has great graphics and art style, even better gameplay and performance, and game modes that will surely entertain you through your own playthrough. So if you are looking for a new MMORPG, I highly recommend trying out the Tree of Savior Neverland mobile game. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to see more game reviews, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. GG!
You're a superhero.